What's up, guys? Welcome to episode number 39 of the Formula 1 2019 Noob Career Mode. As you saw at the start there, we put up the respects for Antoine Hubert, who unfortunately lost his life racing in Formula 2 on Saturday. The reason why you're seeing this on this particular episode now is that this is the Monday that I've actually recorded this and edited it and done the voiceover for it. So unfortunately this was the only opportunity that I had to add this to one of the recordings, and as you saw there on the screen, we also had no chance for any upgrades. So we're running with what we got here for Mexico.
Here in Mexico, where the cars will be going out on track very shortly and battling it out to secure pole for tomorrow's Grand Prix. So then, Ant, it's another Grand Prix weekend, another exciting qualifying session ahead of us. What are you going to be looking out for over the next few minutes?
The first question is going to be who can avoid making mistakes. There isn't much margin for error in qualifying, and you have to bear in mind that the track conditions may have changed since practice, particularly as we've had a few support races in the meantime. If the brake bias settings, for example, don't take this into account, it's extremely easy to lock up a front wheel and cause a flat spot. Just like that, your lap's ruined, and you've wasted a set of tyres to boot.
Now guys, before we get too stuck into this lap, I'm going to tell you this now. At the start of the actual race for the Mexican Grand Prix here, we are going to be pausing on that screen that we started off this episode with for a minute's silence for Antoine Hubert. Such a tragic set of circumstances that led to his untimely demise. But I'm so glad that Charles Leclerc got the win in the memory of his friend. But now on to what we're here to do, which is qualifying for the Mexican Grand Prix. As you see, we're doing the second run here in Q2, easily made it through Q1, and we're currently almost out of the top 10 here, so we might not make it to Q3, but we'll see how this lap goes. We did our first lap on the medium set of tyres, just to set a banker because I didn't want to use an old set of softs. I didn't want to use a new set of softs either, and we'll go purple to the second sector as we are over a second in front of our previous time. It looks like we just about nailed the perfect lap here, using all the curves we can. Run a little bit wide on the penultimate corner there. We come through the final corner, cross the line, and it is only good enough for P2. So I'm going to take a quick look at the results here. Lucas Weber on top, as per usual. Myself in P2. We've got Raikkonen there in third. Sebastian Vettel fourth. Our teammate Valtteri Bottas is actually sitting there in seventh. Lewis Hamilton just sneaking into the top 10 in 10th. And as we scroll down a little bit further, we can also see George Russell and Devin Butler both made it into Q2, but got eliminated in 12th and 13th positions. And also Charles Leclerc, the man we were just speaking of, in P11 there. So that's unfortunate for him, missing out on Q3 again. The free choice of tyres come for a race. Now we move on to Q3 now, as we go along this long pit straight here in Mexico. Absolutely chonking along, 353 kilometers an hour, almost 354, as we just hit the braking zone. You see we've got a car just a little bit up ahead on the track. This is the first run in Q3. The second run we made a mistake going through the essence sections, and they kind of just ruined the lap for us. Taking all the curve that we possibly can without unsettling the car too much, because there is a little thing as too much curve on those particular ones. Down to 5th gear for the first set of these S's. And then we're going to stay in 7th for the second set. That's actually the spot where I made the mistake in the next run that you're not going to see. Into the stadium section now. This used to be a baseball field. As we come through to the penultimate corner, we line ourselves up right for the final corner. We cross the line, and it's only good enough for provisional P2 right behind Sebastian Vettel. We have a look at the results now. Lucas Weber on top, Vettel in second, myself in third, Valtteri Bottas in fifth, Kimi Räikkönen qualifying the worst out of all of us here in Q3, down in P10. So now we're going to go and have a quick look here at the weather forecast. And then it's time to get into the race for the Mexican Grand Prix.
The air may be thin here in Mexico City. The atmosphere is anything but. The crowd have been chanting and singing, not just this afternoon, but throughout the entire weekend. There's a great love for Formula One here, and no small amount of expectation. Let's hope today's Grand Prix can meet it. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Why don't we talk about Ferrari? They haven't had a single retirement in the last 10 races. What do you make of the car's reliability?
It's a good statistic for sure, as it demonstrates not only mechanical reliability, but consistency from both drivers as well. These are two of the first boxes you have to tick for any successful season.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Great work from Lucas Weber yesterday sees him start from pole, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have a Mercedes, Perez, Valtteri Bottas and Verstappen, Hamilton, Gasly, Hülkenberg and Kimi Räikkönen, Leclerc, Russell, Devon Butler and Norris, Giovinazzi, Albon, Kevin Magnussen and Carlos Sainz. Ricciardo and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Alright, so we're going to have a quick little look at the race strategy here, just to see what lap we're going to come in and pit on. It looks like we're coming into pit on lap 8. And now it's time for the minute of silence for Antoine Hubert. And then we'll get stuck into this Mexican Grand Prix. The grid. It's time to go for the 5 red lights. And we are off and racing here for the Mexican Grand Prix Season 2 of F1 2019 Noob Career Mode. We didn't get the best of starts, but when does the player ever get a good start? We've got Bottas coming up on behind us. We've got Perez up on the inside. He gets the position away from us. A little bit of contact there as we're going through turn 1. It's a bit hard to keep track of who was there. Also, we've got Verstappen behind us right now. I think he was all the way on the very inside. So that's just thrown a little bit of a spanner into the works. As now we're trying to look for a way around Sergio Perez so we can get onto maybe trying to fight Weber, who is down in second as Vettel has gotten ahead of him. So things are looking good for us to maybe try and challenge Weber and maybe even challenge Vettel as well. It's going to be quite a bit annoying if Weber ends up getting another win here, because that means that we're not going to be able to close the gap in the championship at all, which really does suck. We go for a big dive on Perez heading into the stadium section, which damages our front wing there a little bit, as you can see, and we take out the cone now, which actually gets us a little bit of a penalty. Well, actually gets us a corner cut warning.
Be careful with the front
can't see
wing, you've taken
for
some
some
minor
reason
damage.
my header there has decided to creep down the screen. Now we move the action onto lap number 3. You can see we've got yellow flags behind us. So we'll have to have a look at what's going to happen there. Maybe the virtual safety car is out on the track, so we're definitely going to have to check out the replay cameras now. And it looks like we've got a Force India. And it's the one that's right behind us, it's Sergio Perez. And it looks like there is no smoke, so it's hydraulic or electrical, and that's going to put Sergio Perez out of this race.
Okay, clear.
We'll move on to lap 7. This is the lap before our pit stop, and we got another virtual safety car. This time it's for the McLaren. I'm pretty sure this is Carlos Sainz. He's up trying to make a move on the Williams there, and his car just gives up on power. There's another electrical or hydraulic fault there. Now we move on to our pit lap, which is lap 8. Lewis Hamilton coming into the pits with us. Get a nice smooth stop there. We come out just in front of Max Verstappen, who was coming into pit as well. We still managed to stay ahead of Hamilton. With how close Hamilton is to us right now as we're coming out of the pits, he could be a little bit of a thorn in our side come the rest of this race. It looks like we've also just been passed by the two Ferraris of Leclerc and Giovinazzi. And they're really down the field here. That's 14th and 15th for them. So we're going to get Gio here quite nicely as we move on to the next left-hander at the start of the chicane section. We're going to get Leclerc as well with a big dive bomb, cut off his entry into the last part of that chicane. Now we move on to lap 14, and we are defending quite hard here from Hamilton. Hamilton gave us a bit of a tap in the back there. He actually gets the move made on us, but we go a little bit deeper on brakes around the outside of turn 1. Managed to get the position back, and we pinch him off on the next corner, which means that he can't get in front of us. We move on to lap 16, 2 laps before the end of the race. And we've made contact. I went for a very defensive move, and he hit the back of our car there. Looks like we got a little bit of a warning for contact with Hamilton. You couldn't see it because of the header at the top of the screen there.
This is your final lap of the race.
Now we move on to the last lap of the race, lap 18 of 18. Hamilton's still behind us, but he's fallen off quite incredibly there behind us. I think he actually ended up getting damage from our car as Max Verstappen has now gotten around him. So it could be Verstappen finishing in P5 there. We've got Raikkonen just right in front of us. We were looking at trying to catch up to Raikkonen when Lewis decided he wanted to start battling with us. So we never ended up catching up to Raikkonen properly. We've been a little bit quicker than him over this final stint. But with Hamilton battling us pretty hard, we just never quite had the legs to reach him. So we go green to that first sector. Come through the tight S's here. Make a little bit of a mistake, just run a little bit wide there on the exit of the last one as we head into the stadium section for the final time. And we're just not going to have enough legs to catch up to Kimi here as the crowd in the stadium go absolutely wild. The race is over. Lucas Weber has won the race, and we come home in P4.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Alfa Romeo have been winning fans the world over with their brilliant driving, showing that they're a force to be reckoned with out there on the track. They'll certainly be building on that fan base after today's excellent result.
Time for us to have a quick little squiz at the results here. As you can see, it's German 1-2 with Weber and Vettel. Kimi Raikkonen sitting there in 3rd. Myself in 4th. Bottas is in P6. So Hamilton actually dropped all the way down to 8th there. George Russell, our former teammate, making his way up to 10th, which is amazing to see. Devin Butler making his way to 11th. Scroll down the field there, we can see Sergio Perez and Lando Norris out of the race. Daniel Ricciardo all the way down in 18th as well. That's terrible for the fellow Aussie. Have a look at the standings, and Weber is growing that lead in front of us. 15 points there, and Alfa Romeo have overtaken Mercedes in the constructors as well. So me and Bottas have a lot of work to do ahead of us. We're going to go and check out the rivalry update and then the resource point update. And I forgot to set a rival this race, so we're going to have to do that as well when we get back to the laptop. We have a look at the R&D points as well now for the first time in this episode. And we're up to 1912, which is a nice little haul of points. We'll see what we can do with it. I know that we got the major fuel efficiency upgrade that we wanted to put on the car. And for the rival, I decided to go for Max Verstappen, just because he's someone who I think is still on our level, whereas everyone else is seeming to step up a little bit here, which is a little bit worrying. Gonna go check out the R&D tree now to see what we can do. I'm gonna have to run a quick little calculation here as we go and check out the price of the fuel efficiency upgrade, which is going to be 1073, sorry. And then I also want to go check out the durability upgrade for the ICE. And that one's going to cost 900 flat. So unfortunately I'm not going to be able to afford both those upgrades. We just fall a little bit short there. I think we're only short by about 60 resource points. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on the major fuel efficiency upgrade here, which when everything starts coming into the car should put us back ahead of Alfa Romeo, at least in the engine department. We're going to go down to the aerodynamics, where we still have a minor upgrade here for the diffuser. So we're going to go and put the minor diffuser upgrade on as well, which will hopefully help set us up quite nicely, because we're down to 4th in the R&D charts there. But anyway guys, this is going to wrap up this episode of the F1 2019 Noob Career Mode. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And until the next episode, I'll see you guys next time.